Alexandria,
I'm here.
Julie? No, Julie? Shireen?
I think she said she was going to be away.
Oh, that's right. You're
That's
right. Shireen?
Yes, here.
And Rachel?
Here.
Okay, and Mayor will be joining us at some point. So we have no public comment. Hi, Sheila. Okay, so can we get approval for the minutes for March 11th, 2020?
Pasadena, we received around $73,528 of that CDBG CV funds. Overall, the funds need to be spent by September of 2022. And so they can be spent on various options were basically presented to council, and they will be presented to you today for the use of the funds. The first alternative is to use the 73,000 The last alternative is the emergency small business, and this is grant for small business owners that would be this LACDA would administer this program on behalf of the city. So we wouldn't have to staff this program. It would be completely taken in by LA County and administered that way. The qualifications for this alternative, the owner must be of low
for the rental assistance.
That's a lottery as well.
Okay, I see.
If I may just chime in, this is Marisol with the City of South Pasadena. On the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, we would have to go with what LA County has designed for small cities. LA County is currently working on developing this program for cities like us that need the support. And they've decided that they would implement a lottery system, and they would provide $1,000 for a period of 3 months in small. Businesses. And this funding is flexible enough that we could use it for that, but I'm not aware that there's a lot of demand, if you will.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Any other questions?
Do you need us to vote? Do you need us to vote on it, or you just want us our, our thoughts? You just want to hear our thoughts?
I think we all know they're suffering quite a bit out there. It's not going to help a whole lot, but at least it's going to, show that we do care along with the seniors. So I'm having the same thing, trying to weigh all this and see what is the right, if there is really a right decision here, knowing that there are needs in all three areas. And I think that's what we're talking about, right? We're not talking about anything outside of those three areas. So I just leave it up to you.
Do you know, so for the lottery, how does that work? It's just all renters in South Pasadena are put in that pool?
Yes, but we'll probably be, and Marisol might need to help me on this. I thought we would forward it to the county and do it under their program. Okay, which still would be for South Pass. However, it's a lottery.
Right.
You really don't want to get into, names and people and things like that.
Right.
It's just too
That's
hard.
correct, Mayor. It is a lottery, and the LA County would run that lottery on behalf of our city. Once all the applications are received, the county would make sure that the eligible applicants qualify based on income.
Okay.
I-
How would
sorry.
the small business grant work? I call it a grant, but Marisol.
So it's still evolving. The county doesn't have all the details set up so far. What they have said is they're contemplating a grant of either $5,000 or $10,000 per business, and they will require the recipients of the funding to either create a job or retain a job.
Now, I'm aware of some cities, larger cities, are doing this kind of grant for the small businesses. But I think they're working it directly and they have the staff to come up with a program. And I think like South El Monte, no, I'm sorry. El Monte is one, I think Alhambra's looking at it, doing it with their own staff and within the city. So again, it's not a lot. I mean, when Alhambra's doing it, they're talking about, I'm going to guess, but at least 200,000 or better. Is that right, Marisol? I mean, it's quite large as compared with
Absolutely.
ours.
I can tell you that in the city of Claremont, they were able to put together a fund of $470,000, and half of that is going to small business grants. That city also traditionally has a small business grant program that they run. So
We're going to have your recommendation, from the senior committee. So, I hope that helps a little bit, but
Yeah, no, it does. And thank you for the explanation and the report also. I mean, it makes it pretty clear, I think, the alternatives.
who said being on a council is easy?
Oh, no.
Don't envy anybody. I mean, it seems like we want to help. I mean, so, I mean, I'm a small, I'd love a grant, but is that how I would say it? Okay.
Is Rachel in favor of that as well?
Yes, I am.
Just to make sure, I wanted to hear from you. Thanks.
Yeah.
We'll send that to, well, Marisol's on the phone, but it'll be included in her staff report, our recommendation to council, and then council has the fund ultimate decision.
the goal line. A draft initial study and mitigated negative deck has been prepared for this project and is available for a 30-day public review from Tuesday, June 30th to Wednesday, July 29th. So it's out for review, public review. It's the big difference of what they have done now and what they have added on, and 2 or 3 storefront businesses will be leased or rented out in the maybe near future. We'll see. But the owner has made a commitment and redid and restored the whole exterior of the Rialto. So I really am thankful for him and what they have been doing, because to me it's a big addition, just having it restored that way. The interior, the Mosaic is still leasing the interior, but they're not holding any meetings there because of the coronavirus. But they are supposed to be restoring some of the handicap restrooms and things of that nature in the interior. Okay, everyone knows about Krispy Kreme. That's going to be in the, where Mama Brick Oven was in that little KFC site? Well, that will now be Krispy Kreme. So that will be coming in, well, hopefully in about 3-4 months. We'll see. Okay. Another addition. And that is, what's that place? Oh, grocery mart or grocery outlet. That is due to open October 2020. And I think you all know where the location will be.
the Zoom on your phone?
You don't even
Yes.
have to use Zoom. There's just like the phone number you can call in. Yeah.
I will call in right now.
Pasadena, they'll leave it live streaming because it has to be live streamed. So she has her cell phone. Okay.
Oh, so while she's calling in, I do like to add one other thing, and I think we all, the senior commission is aware of it, but I just want to give a little background, and that is the $50,000 donation by the Ing family. It's actually Kai Ing passed away about a month ago now, and the family donated $50,000 to the senior using all the senior programs. And Sheila could tell you that too. They went to every, tour or day tour. They went to every seminar that the seniors were putting on, and they were always at every luncheon and all. And I can tell you, they must have been so pleased and so, it was so meaningful for them for the senior program that they gave that amount. I'll be honest with you, I am very, very shocked and surprised. So I just wanted to give you a little background on that.
Okay. Hi, this is Shireen. So, in memory of him, can we maybe name a room after him? Because that's a really huge donation. Just like a little plaque on in a room or something that says Kai Ing room or something. I don't know. Just throw it.
Yeah. I think a couple of things. One, the foundation will make that decision, what I think the needs are and all. But I did talk to Dorothy, and I think she would appreciate if we at least check with her to see what we're thinking about doing. Okay. So it's a good idea, and Shireen, and I think it should be passed on to the foundation. Okay.
I will make sure that
Thing,
I pass that on.
just want to add, is it possible to have a representative of the foundation
I guess when we had the city Zoom on and then you have Zoom on your phone in the same room, that's, I think, the problem that they're having. But Shireen, did you ask about having somebody from?
No, foundation. Can we have a representative from our senior foundation to be at our meeting? And just invite them, and if they can come, they come. If not, if they have something to report or want to tell us, it would be nice for them to come to our meeting.
I can do that.
Thank you.
Shireen, I just got put on the Senior Foundation, the Senior Center Foundation, but we haven't had a meeting because of what's been going on. So I'm actually seeing them for the first time today, or some of us are going to, because the dudes made a donation and there's going to be something at the Senior Center. So, so I don't know anything, but I'd be happy to report when and if I do know stuff.
There we go. We have.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Alexandria.
Yeah. They reel you in. They reel you in.
Hello?
Oh, good. We can hear you better without feedback.
Yeah, I actually had to step outside. There's just technical difficulties today with our internet connection, and so we're trying to make do the best we can. My apologies for that. But I wanted to just make sure we address this concern, and I give you guys an update, and then receive any necessary feedback moving forward as we are watching kind of what's transpiring with this pandemic. I think it's important that we just have this communication and are on the same page. And so I just wanted to quickly touch base that my last update given to you guys was that there was 300 meals delivered last week, which is different because when we started in March, we quickly saw an increase in home delivered meals. We also had to shift our resources to adjust for this shift in this pandemic. And so what happened early on in March or mid-March was that Dial-A-Ride and Senior Center worked together, and we saw a high demand for home delivered meals, and Senior Center and Dial-A-Ride worked together to answer that response. We would get as many as maybe 20 or so applications weekly. Towards mid-May, we started to move from phase 1 to phase 2, and so things started to open up. And what we saw was there was still a high demand for the services for Senior Center home delivery program, but we also saw the change in Dial-A-Ride. So it went from kind of not being utilized or only utilized for very strict medical appointments to now with the lax or entering into phase 2, we saw other uses for Dial-A-Ride. Conversely, we saw Senior Center meals kind of, there was still a demand, but between May and June, it looks like we were still doing above and beyond. However, we're starting to see a dip now in meals. And so we went from about 500, what we were doing, 500 meals a week, to now we're going down to about 300. What I would like to bring to light or shed a little more information on is that 300 meals a week is still prominently high for Senior Center for the home delivery program because before March 16th or before the stay-at-home orders in the pandemic, it looked like home delivery was roughly about 30 to 40 participants daily, and now we're looking at about 70 to maybe a little bit in the low 80s daily, but we're hanging out around 70, 75. So there's still very much a need and a demand. Senior Services, Dial-A-Ride, and Senior Center have partnered with Holy Family, Dudes, Girl Friday, and other local partners, organizations to help answer the call for seniors, mostly for their food needs. Dial-A-Ride has, when medical facilities have opened, and depending on what's going on with the city and with the county on a weekly basis to make sure that they have access to resources and information that they need. Outside of that, staff is also working to try to bolster or acknowledge the also emotional aspect of this pandemic, where they used to have a kind of a safe haven at the senior center. We've recognized that closing our doors does play a toll on that. And so we've also partnered with volunteer groups such as the Women's Club, local Girl Scout troops, and the Asian and Art and Cultural Association, just to name a few, to help get them masks, some of them medical grade, some of them that are cloth that were made by hand and with much thoughts. We've also passed out cards of encouragement. So we continue to try to recognize that this is an ever-changing situation and trying to shift and maximize our resources available to ensure their health and safety. So that's basically what I wanted to bring to you guys today. But if you guys have any questions or concerns, to feedback.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yes. Angela, can you talk about the grab and go? Because you have the grab and go, is it because then there's a dip on the Meals on Wheels? You think there's a connection or no?
No, so the grab and go was in response to the phase 2 and that the seniors could come out. I don't think it played a dip in the numbers. What I'm trying to do is one, keep in tow with the right too, we did get calls, and that did kind of happen where due to the pandemic, their care is being shifted from what we used to do to having families do that because of the crisis. And if people are off of work or if they have that time that they can dedicate to mom and dad, I would presume that they would. What we didn't do during this pandemic, or because everything is moving so fast, is that when they cancel, we never asked them why. So I couldn't present that qualitative aspect to you, just my speculation in the dip and the fluctuation. launched it last week. I know that I was asked to go out and actually formally survey the seniors to get feedback on it. Informally, I have gotten some, it's been a mixed bag of feedback. Some of them really do appreciate it, and some of them it's taking a bit getting used to. And part of it is that it's very, very different, even just down to the packaging, which I'll tell you, those details are huge for our population, and we understood that too. So we used to serve the food on site, and now they come already pre-packaged. And so even down to that detail, it has made a difference to our seniors. Some appreciate it, and some prefer how it was before.
Thank you. I know because they've been getting the same thing for so many years, and then now changes. It will take me some time to get, adjust.
And I think the new meals are actually healthier. The vegetables look like a vegetable, and they're fresh, and it's not as salty. And I think they don't like that. So it's actually a healthier meal, and so I think some people have to get used to that as well. So I think some of the, Angela's being very kind, but some of the calls, it's like, hey, it doesn't have, it's not, they've had to add, so it actually looks, usually our seniors get to taste the food before we even go to pick a vendor. Well, this year with everything going on, we couldn't do that. Mm-hmm. So when the vendor came out, we asked for some of those meals, and we cooked the meals, and I made the senior center staff actually sit and try the meals and eat the meals to see what, I'm all, are they good? What do you think? And they all enjoyed them. They said, it's actually cleaner food, vegetables. It doesn't look like smashed up something. And so it is a change. We had the last cater for 20 years, and so it's going to be a change. And Angela's been doing great on receiving the calls and taking the information. And I just asked her. I said, if you want to just do a little stay, and maybe there's some real big, flow and fall away, and people will finally get used to it. But it's healthy.
Thank you, Sheila. Yeah, it'll take time to get used to something new.
Yeah.
Okay. Any
and
questions? Or
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just want also, as far as their in with the meal program, is that early on in the pandemic, we did Islands Restaurant in Pasadena did reach out to us, and so as part of the weekend meals, they Islands donated chicken salads to the seniors, and so they do receive a variety of food. And even with that, those fresh salads that are made the night before and delivered the next day, we have gotten mixed gifts. It's hard for them, and where some of you have talked to them and they're used to cooking for themselves and going out, it's a big adjustment to have to.
They've been getting this food for 20 years, so changes.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's been a lot of change for them, and it's been happening so quickly. So, are there any other questions or concerns that I can address?
Thank you, Angela, for all that information. We appreciate it.
Yeah, that was great. And I've noticed too at Girl Friday, our shopping orders have dropped way off. And I know when I'm in the store, I do see a lot more seniors out. So we just keep hammering it home that we're still offering it. It's still free, just to try to encourage them. I know they want to get out because we all want to get out, but in my opinion, the grocery store is not the best place for any of us to be, but especially them. So thank you for all of that great information.
Cindy, can I add something?
Sure.
The comment was made about the dudes donating $1,000. We we are probably going to turn around and give to the we have certain seniors that can't pay for their meals. And so we probably have about $500 that we need to cover. One of them being one of our volunteers who used to be in this kitchen for us all the time. He fell very ill, went to the hospital, he came back. He wouldn't take our meals because he couldn't pay for them. So we let him know, we were going to handle that. So it'll pay for different situations like that. And, Angela did mention mental health. That called in to the city manager's office, just, I need food. And, we were there with meals within an hour, and we went to Holy Family and got a bag of, of groceries and things like that. And so the mental health part of it comes in where she called later going, why are you sending me this food? We don't want it. And then the next day calling the senior center 20 times and where's my lunch? So we have those issues going on that we trying to deal with as well. Doing that pretty well. But it is very difficult when you get those that are kind of losing, that cognitive, memory. They're like, where's my lunch? Well, so we're dealing with some of those things on a kind of a daily basis, but we're trying to, this person just continues to call every phone number in the city and complain that they didn't get it, or they want it, or now they don't want it. So we're dealing with those little issues. Angela and the staff have been doing an amazing job at getting the lunches. I will tell you, and we changed over July 1. And with this pandemic came, the company serves over 100,000 meals, I guess, throughout the county a day. Mm-hmm. And so we actually are getting these meals frozen, and we're cooking them in our ovens at the senior center and at War Memorial. So they cook for so long, staff takes them out, they bag them, and off they go. So it's they've got a system. They'll cook for the, 45 minutes, they'll have their things cooked, and the driver's out the door. And by the time the driver gets back, their next meal is all cooked up, ready to go, and on its way. So once this pandemic and things calm down, they've been the type meals that we've been normally getting, and we, distribute and serve. But right now, that's the kind of meal they're getting. So that's well. But it's the only thing that we can do to get through right now with this pandemic, because it is so, he's part of the whole county, to get all these meals out. His company is. So with that, the meals are still good. Staff really enjoyed them. They look at them every day. They don't just on them and that they're cooked all the way through. So they are taking care. They're cooking, getting these meals cooked. So they have been doing a phenomenal job. And don't complain. And I just appreciate that every day, because I don't think a lot of people know what goes on behind the doors of the senior center, and there's a lot going on. So Angela and her staff have done an amazing job. And I just wanted to share that with you.
So we appreciate that too, Angela.
Thank you, Angela and staff.
Nothing is easy right now, we know. So thank you.
Yeah, that's great to know those details. And Sheila, I think that one thing we're knowing from this pandemic is that, we already knew isolation was bad for older adults, but now they're really isolated. And so I'm sure, as the months go on, people who were already maybe a little confused don't have much to ground them at all. And so I am sure all the telephone calls and visits and everything you guys are doing is making a huge impact, all those meals, all of it. So thank you.
And your calls have been helping the seniors, just kind of knowing that. I know some of the seniors get, you don't need to call me anymore, I'm just fine. But you know what, for you guys to make those phone calls as well helps us. We don't get everybody all the time, but in a week or 2 times, we cycle through everybody. So on that note, I really appreciate that as well. So.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I wanted to extend my gratitude too, because to Sheila's point, the day-to-day is very demanding, but we happily do it, and we'll do it every day. But the other aspect that I am concerned about too is the mental health. And it's hard to try and do both. And And so it is nice to know that they have you guys to reach out to and contact, and if they need something, and you guys can share that with us and we can be there for them, because they used to have that contact with us day to day, face to face. So this dynamic has impacted both our side and their side. And so thank you for being those liaisons and helping them and comforting them.
Great. Well, thank you. Any last closing comments?
Add, we will really start reaching out to those seniors who that had come to the program before, but because they're not a resident, we're not delivering to them, just to give them that grab and go option as well, because we've been worried about them, wondering if they're getting a meal, if they weren't getting it through their city. And so we're probably going to just reach out to that group that used to come on a daily basis to get lunch, to say, hey, we're offering, come, do a grab and go program. And just so that we have peace of mind knowing that they're okay as well and they're getting food if they couldn't or get it from their city. So just I forgot to add that when Shireen had asked.
That's great.
I'm sorry, I just thought of one more thing. Sheila, when you were talking about how most people don't really know what's going into the meals, I'm sure Bill Glazier would love to do a story for the South Pasadenan that had photos of you guys cooking the meals in the ovens, just to know like the war memorial's going, the senior center's going, they're all being delivered. I'm sure he would love to do a little something about that. And because I think you're right. People don't realize how many folks are getting meals in town now and how that's changed.
Okay, that's a great idea. Thank you.
Okay, if there's no other comments, we'll move.
I do have one more comment.
Okay.
If you don't mind, and that is Bob Vanderwall is having a birthday drive-through at his house tomorrow at 4:40 or something like that. Years old. So the family's trying to do just a drive-through and all. And I'm planning to stop off. Well, I can't stop, per se, but to give him a what we call a happy birthday resolution signed by me, and hand it to him tomorrow. But if anyone else, or if I think Angela was thinking about a card from the seniors, and it's up to you folks, and then I'll deliver it if you want me to, and things like that. So I just make mention to it. That's all.
It would be great if the senior center could attach a card, because I mean, all his years on the commission and then his years delivering meals, that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
So Angela, can you find a card?
Yeah, we'll
Something else for you to do.
Not a problem.
Yes, I actually already have one, so we're going to pass it around and we'll get everyone to sign it. Not a problem.
Great. Okay, if that's it, then I'll make a motion to adjourn. Move to adjourn.
I second that.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
you.
Very